What is up, everyone, and welcome to Optimus Fantasy Football. I am Nate Polvogt here with the Friday Vibes Show to get you to the weekend and get those lineups for Week 6 set. I am joined by my co-host, the one and only Keith Flemming. Keith, how are we doing this afternoon over there out east? And I guess you're east and southeast.
Man, Atlanta traffic started drinking early today. Took a what is normally like a 35-minute commute. Took me an hour and 15 minutes to get home. I was taking every back road known to man, but we made it. Sorry for being late. That's on me.
But it happens. It's real life, right? We're not like in a news studio or in Bristol, staying in the building all day, just waiting to jump on a show. I wish. Sounds like a great way to live. But what we are is here to talk about this upcoming slate, Keith, and bunch of injury news today. If you're not, optimusfantasynews.bluesky.social. Check them out. They are dropping all of the news as it happens. And I'm going to be honest, man, with all of the work that we do behind the scenes here, it's hard for me to stay up to date sometimes. This account has really got me on my toes. So it's keeping me aware. The first one we know for sure, Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall in San Francisco, Keith. They're out for the weekend. We've got Mac Jones again.
Hello, also, Kendrick Bourne.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And I recorded our DFS show with Mike Reedy earlier today. That'll be coming out this evening once I have time to actually sit down and edit the thing. But one of the things we talked about was that if it's Mac Jones this week in what will likely be a very pass-heavy script for the 49ers in this game, I really, 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 really like Kendrick Bourne in this matchup.
I like how many reallys you use there, and I agree at 5K, especially on DraftKings. And when you talk about what should be a pass-heavy, one of the biggest pass funnels in the NFL, Tampa Bay, first in EPA per rush attempt, 27th EPA versus dropbacks. So it is much easier to move the ball through the air than it is on the ground. I would be shocked if CMC, Bourne, and what is it, Tongas, or the tight end that's been
Tongas,
filling in, really well for Kittle, all have significant targets and receptions in this game. And the great part is, well, I guess that is the one concern actually I have, is Tampa also dealing with injuries. Will they be able to score and move the ball the way they have this season? Because that's been one of the big benefits of Tampa, similar to like Dallas and these squads that really good offense and a defense that gives up points. So like that's, obviously the dream. It's just, will Tampa Bay be able to move it on Robert Saleh and that San Francisco defense, with Rachaad White, no Evans, no Godwin. It's going to be interesting.
It will be. Here's the thing, though. They've got Emeka Egbuka. They've got Jalen McMillan if they need him. Cade Otton has proven to be incredibly reliable for Baker Mayfield. So I'm not worried about them moving the ball at all. And I do think this does turn into a big-time shootout. Emeka Egbuka is someone that I want a lot of this weekend in DFS because there's no Chris Godwin. And I know you're going to be paying up for Egbuka. I can't remember exactly what his salary was off the top of my head. But I'm okay with it because I think
6,900. I think
that's not bad for a guy who's probably going to be a volume hog in this game.
7,200. I was a few off, but 72. Yeah.
Okay, I mean close enough. Yeah, I wouldn't mind spending 7,200 on Emeka this weekend. He's going to see a ton of volume. And Cade Otton, I think, becomes a guy who you can spend down in DFS for if you really want to. And I think that Cade Otton's a good flyer streamer at tight end this weekend as well. Again, pass-heavy script. It should be for both. Well, we know it's going to be pass-heavy for Tampa Bay, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Mean, that's just kind of a given here.
I mean, Rachaad White had a great game, but I think he averaged like less than 3.5 yards per carry. And that's, unless they're going to decide to give it to Sean Tucker, which I would, it's just being a better back. And they don't seem to want to do that with Rachaad White being in there. I'm with you. Like Baker's going to Baker. And he's been incredible. He's my MVP right now, I think, in the NFL. You look at how good that offense has been despite, Worth missing multiple games, Evans, Godwin, now Bucky, and this offense just keeps, scoring points.
Yep. No, in spite of all of that, Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback, so I don't want to hear it anymore. I love the guy. We got this question in the chat, Keith. Tyler Sperry wants to know, grab Romeo Doubs or Kendrick Bourne this week. I would take Kendrick Bourne over Romeo Doubs. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're asking me rest of season, maybe slightly Dobbs, but if you're talking about this week, which I live for today in fantasy, it's not like I don't see Dobbs being this like huge get down the stretch. But Green Bay is also dealing with injuries and their receiving core figuring it out. But Bourne, to your point, I'd be shocked if he doesn't get at least 7 targets. Him and Mac Jones, remember, played together in New England, and we saw that connection immediately in a game that Jennings and Purcell both missed. Even if Jennings is back, I still see Bourne getting just crazy volume.
Well, Bourne had 11 targets last week. Bourne's best fantasy season was with Mac Jones at quarterback. That was in 2021. I mean, and granted, it was only 70 targets. He was wide receiver 34.
Jones was a rookie too, though, wasn't he, that year?
Yeah,
was that yeah.
No, Jones was a rookie, and you can tell the connection is there. Mac Jones is a better quarterback. This is a better system than what they had in New England, and you can fight me if you disagree. Kyle Shanahan just all
Who's
around.
Who's fighting you on that? Come on, man.
Just some New England people, probably. Some truthers out there for the end of the Bill Belichick era. But I mean,
that's a tough leg to stand on there, if you ask me.
I don't think there are many who will. But again, I like Kendrick Bourne in this situation. I like Kendrick Bourne this week in a game that's going to be a shootout. They're going to have to get the ball downfield. And not only are you without Ricky Pearsall, Deebo Samuel isn't there anymore. George Kittle's hurt, which makes me like Tongas as well. He's tied in 9 right now, Keith.
Hello. What do you think the over-under? Because CMC's averaging almost 20 points per game just as a pass catcher. And I mean, he's having to because they can't run the ball. I mean, he's averaging like 3.4 yards per carry. But I mean, what do you think? 9, 10 receptions this week? I mean, because again, Tampa is a team that it's almost impossible to run on. First in EPA, I think they're like second or third in yards per game on the ground. And we know that if they get pressure, which Tampa can, to your point, I think that's like really good for both the tight end and CMC.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Let's go over to this one here. Jamie Parag wants to know Michael Carter or Juwan Johnson. And then at the end here, he tossed in a little Tony Pollard. He needs to start 2 here. Pats do allow the second most points to tight ends. So can you see a bounce back for him? But also Chris Olave is getting so much volume. But I'm also scared. I mean, Michael Carter, he saw the volume last week, and DeMarcado screwed up dropping the ball heading into the end zone. But I still think I'd go Juwan Johnson here, and not Tony Pollard.
Yeah,
not
tight end premium for sure. Yeah. I mean, just remember that despite Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau both being active, I know Johnson didn't see the targets, but he was on the field almost for the exact amount of offensive snaps, at least in a percentage that he was the week before. And they also ran it a ton. That was one of the reasons that he didn't see the targets that he normally does. I expect New England to be able to score and move the ball at will on this New Orleans team. So if they get down, I mean, this is a dream matchup for Johnson owners because New England, again, is dead last versus tight ends on DraftKings. So that's, PPR formats. And this is a tight end premium league. Like, dude, sign me up. Love Juwan Johnson, and I would still rather play Pollard over Carter. This is actually probably the best matchup Pollard's had all year in the terms that the Raiders offense also kind of sucks. So I don't know if they're going to be down like they have in a ton of games. And we have seen when Tennessee is competitive, they just keep feeding Tony Pollard.
Yep. I don't want to talk about Tony Pollard anymore. We've got this from Jamie as well, and I did want to address this. Worthy says he has no injury designation, will play Sunday, but Sleeper still has him. Is doubtful. What's up with that? Sleeper gets behind on some of that stuff. I love Sleeper, but I think they care more about their props in the app than they care about the actual.
I've gotten obsessed with the player prop parlays because throw $5 and it'd be like you can get like 30-1 odds. I want to thank friggin' ETN for making me miss out on a plus 2,900 4-leg player prop by 5 yards last what was that, Sunday night? So but they're a lot of fun, man. If you just enjoy throwing together stuff to throw at the wall. I've gotten more and more into it, even though I know parlays is not the way to gamble.
Well, you're not allowed to play him here, and it really bums me out. You can do parlays everywhere else, but you can't do them on Underdog, and you can't do them on Sleeper in Colorado, and I don't know why. We've got Nino Pena in the chat dropping in full PPR, big play bonus league, 1 running back, 2 flexes, Keith. He's got Chase Brown, Michael Carter, RJ Harvey, Isaiah Pacheco, Elic Aomanor, and Mason Taylor.
My guy.
I'm starting Mason Taylor. He's one of my flexes. That's immediate. And then from there, at running back, I'm probably going to go RJ Harvey. And then, I don't know who to flex.
Is Dobbins banged up? Because Harvey got me last week. I thought for sure in the Philly matchup they would use him more, and they didn't. I have a little concern with that. Taylor, to your point, though, 26% target share week 4, 27% week 5. There's only 3 tight ends right now in football seeing 20% or more of the target share. So that, I mean, right now he is essentially like a wide receiver 2 or 3 playing tight end, which is very good news for him. Man, I would love to trust Chase Brown, but I can't do it.
I can't either. That's why I went RJ Harvey, because I can't trust Chase Brown at all.
I might go Carter, Taylor, and then Io Manor is a dart this week because we've seen, how wildly inconsistent Cam Ward is, but
it's against Vegas.
And they've run a ton of cover 3, which has been actually one of the things that Io Manor has been very good about early in his career. So I think I might lean him. I trust your, instincts on the Denver thing. I just it's so frustrating, the usage with their backs. It's week to week. It seems like every time I think that Harvey's a non-factor, he gets a bunch of touches. And then last week when I thought he would get touches, he really didn't. It was the J.K. Dobbins show.
And that's kind of why I like Harvey this week, because Sean Payton loves to mix it up, and we saw so much Dobbins last week. Not that we're going to see a significantly less workload for Dobbins, but I think we see more of a split this week just because, and they're in London, and it's the overseas game, so,
And the Jets defense sucks. Let's not forget that.
The Jets defense sucks.
Javonte Williams went for 100 yards in the first half, which, by the way, did you see that him and Flournoy were the first Cowboys pass catcher and running back in the history of that franchise to both go for 100 yards, on the ground and in the air, in the history of the Cowboys in one half. And they've had Irvin and Emmett. They had Zeke and, Dez. They had, even in the 70s, Paul, or that. There's just always been these great running backs and receivers. Just wild that group, the 2 guys that everybody would predict are the first Cowboys pass catcher and running back to each go for 100 yards in the same half.
That's crazy. That's really cool, though.
And that came up from the Cowboys PR, so that is 100%, I know, accurate, because Dallas was the one sharing that.
How do you feel about Ryan Flournoy, speaking of moving forward? At least as long as CeeDee Lamb's out, he had such a big game on Sunday, but was that a fluke, or do you think he actually is going to be more involved in this offense? I mean, it might rely on
he
injuries.
Earned targets, right? I think, but the issue is, again, the Jets defense is so bad. I assumed that they were going to return to the 2 years ago Jets defense, with Aaron Glenn being the coach. That's not the case. I have to let that go. This defense is just a really bad defense, and it's great to have players, to your point, playing them. So it actually could be, the more I think about and talk about it, could be a huge Harvey game.
I think it could be. I definitely think it could be. I want to go to this one here real quick, Keith. Jamie has to start Kimani Vidal in a league. Los Angeles Chargers running back. No other options.
Go F yourself, San Diego.
I know, right? What can we expect from the bloodline of the great baseball legend Hank Aaron's nephew? I'm not expecting a ton, but I expect more than I expect from Hassan Haskins.
Man, it's tough because, I feel like this is going to be the Carter DiMarcardo situation all over again, where the more talented back is not going to get a majority of the touches. The fact that Haskins played at Michigan under Harbaugh, we've seen him in some games in the last couple of years when they're really thin at running back, get a majority of the touches. I think the best thing that could happen for the Chargers, though, and for both of these guys, is remember, this is a Dolphins team that allows 170 yards on the ground, now at almost 6 yards per carry. So I think they both are actually intriguing flex plays because I think Haskins has a great chance to score a touchdown. And Vidal is somebody who he's a burner, right? Like he is somebody that can make big plays. And if there's no defense, I think you want to play Rico Dowdle, by the way, last week, the most total yards by a running back all season, the most tackles avoided of any running back all season, tied for the most runs of 15 plus yards. And I don't think Rico Dowdle's that good. I'm just saying that's how bad
he's not.
The Dolphins run defense is. So it's, an intriguing thing for the Chargers. Only concern I have is, again, the offensive line because it's really banged up, but this is the dream match for that if you're facing that kind of situation.
Yeah, no, I love it. I agree. Let's move on to Matt Carmody on YouTube. 4-point passing touchdowns. Would you start Daniel Jones versus Arizona or Justin Fields versus Denver? Denver's only allowed 15 rushing yards to quarterbacks all season. This is an easy one for me, Keith. I'm going Daniel Jones. The ceiling is just considerably higher against an Arizona defense that, well, they gave up 30 points to Carolina. So...
it's tough. I think it's really close. I just think that the floor of Jones should be higher this week because we know that Denver's defense could have a great game. I mean, the frustrating thing is just be prepared. It's, possible. I don't care who Justin Fields is playing for him to score 25, 30 points. Like that is the enigma that is Justin Fields. But I probably would go with Daniel Jones just because I think he's a much safer play. He should get you at least like 15 points. And he obviously has the ability, to have some big games. You just have to worry, Jonathan Taylor doesn't have another 3 touchdown performance, which he's already done twice this year.
Right. Well, and I think too, with Justin Fields, mentioning the only 15 rushing yards allowed by the Denver defense, Justin Fields has showed at least the last couple of games that he can exist and be fantasy relevant without running.
Yes, he can.
He can, but that's going to be hard against a defense where your corners are Riley Moss, PJ Locke, and Pat Surtain. It's a little bit tougher of a secondary than they faced last week. We've got this one.
I would say so. Than the Cowboys. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
Just a little bit better here. Nino Pena wants to know, now this is more of a fantasy show. It is not, Nino. We're all things DFS, betting, fantasy, whatever you want to ask on this show. We are great with. In fact, we have a betting tool that just launched with our tools.optimusfantasy.com site. And if you want to check those out, Nino, 25% off your first 4 months with the code OptimusFall. It's a pretty sweet tool. It gives you lots of cool bets to make over the weekend. But which player prop is more interesting to you, Keith? Ladd McConkey over 4.5 receptions or Keenan Allen over 5.5 receptions this week?
I would lean Keenan Allen. I will tell you, again, Miami is actually good versus the pass. Now, part of that is just they're so bad versus the run. I would personally, if I'm looking for player props with reception totals, I always look at teams that they're either offenses that are in like the top 5 in pass attempts per game because they're going to throw it 35 plus times, or B, again, it's a team like Tampa there's such a disparity where they're first in run DVOA and 27th versus the pass. And there's several teams like that right now, including, I believe, the New England Patriots being one of them. There are these teams that you can, just kind of guarantee. But I would lean Allen because, again, the offensive line issues, if you're just asking about those two, typically Keenan's more of the safety valve.
Yeah, I'm with you too. I would go Keenan Allen. I want it to be Ladd McConkey. I want it to be, but we're just.
Did you
not
see
there
that
yet.
punt return? And people want to act like it's not Ladd, still that dude. That they end up obviously they overturned it. It's just unfortunately we all underestimated Keenan Allen's prior relationship with Justin Herbert. He feels more comfortable throwing him the ball, but like for Dynasty, you might could get Ladd cheap Keenan Allen's not going to play forever, and he might get injured too. That's the other thing always with Keenan Allen. And I promise you, Ladd is that guy. So when the opportunities are there, I think Ladd will be just right back to kind of the guy he was last year.
Yeah, I think he will be too. I'm not worried about him. Long term, I'm definitely not worried about him. But for this week, it's going to be
this
Keenan
season.
Allen
It's a bummer.
for me.
Yeah.
A lot of slot targets, I think, and I think that's 100% correct. They have no backfield. So,
Yep.
We've got Lou, Mr. Myth Carrion, over on Twitch. He is the man who really gets us here every week. Thank you, Lou. Fun fact from last year, from weeks 13 through 17, J.K. Dobbins missed each game between Gus Edwards, Hassan Haskins, and Kimani Vidal. The highest they managed was an RB25 week, which took not one, but 2 rushing touchdowns by Gus the Bus. The only other RB3 or better finish was an RB29 finish, thanks to a Vidal receiving touchdown. So you're not going to get much out of this rushing game.
Well, again, I agree, except do not forget who they are playing. It is
that's a fair point. They're
the
playing
worst
Miami
rush defense in the NFL. So I think overall, very concerning for the Chargers. This week, I would not be so confident like that. Neither of those guys are going to do anything.
Yeah. It won't. If it's going to be one of them, for me, it's going to be Kimani Vidal. We've got this one from Nino as well. Dak versus Carolina or Justin Fields versus Denver. Big play bonus. I'm taking Dak against Carolina.
Yeah, I guess I have to do the same. Again, it's a tough matchup for Fields, but I just, again, be prepared that the way Javonte Williams is running, Carolina, another one of those teams that they're actually better versus the pass than they are versus the run. But I think Dak is almost matchup proof at this point with what he's, been able to do. He's another guy that if his team had a better record, he would be right there in the MVP conversation as well.
Okay. Now here's another one. We've got Jacob wanting to know, drop Juwan Johnson or Justin Fields to stash Woody Marks. This is the rest of his team, Keith. It's 12-man, redraft, half PPR, 2 flex spots, wide receiver, running back, tight end. He's got Drake May, Bijan Robinson, Ashton Jeanty, Emeka Egbuka, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Theo Johnson, Bill Krosky Merritt, Rico Dowdle. On his bench, Justin Fields, Bashal Tutin, Matthew Golden, CeeDee Lamb, obviously hurt, and Juwan Johnson. So back to the question. Which one would you drop to stash Woody Marks if you were going to drop one of them?
Don't drop Justin Fields, okay? Like, you're just giving another person in the league a guy that has top 5 QB upside. I mean, Fields is already, I think, top 5 in points per game at QB position and first in points per dropback, despite scoring 4 points in the Buffalo game. So, like, that's Fields' upside. I would not drop him. And I actually think I don't know. What did Johnston do last night? Because, and I'm talking about Theo Johnson, I think I might rather have Juwan Johnson rest of the season than him. Tutin is actually the guy from your roster that I would feel most comfortable like dropping right this moment because, I mean, Etienne's another guy, kind of like what we're seeing with Javonte Williams. It's real. Like, he's very good. And in a Liam Cohen offense, that feature back is going to, eat. And Tutin had that little moment where it looked like he was eating into the, the snaps and stuff. But since then, it's not been the case.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been the case at all. If I would drop either Bashal Tutin or Theo Johnson, those are the ones I would definitely look at dropping. But Woody Marks is a good stash. So
no, for sure. Yeah,
definitely worth it. We've got Jamie got another one for us. Lawrence or Darnold for his super flex this week. Which one are you going for?
Man, this is a good question to have because both of these guys have great matchups. I think I might lean T-Law just because I think there's going to be more points scored in the Jacksonville, or excuse me, they're playing each other. So Keith, that does not help. So I think I'd lean T-Law. Seattle is better versus the run. They got all the injuries in their secondary. But my question is like, who is your starting QB? Because I think they're both really good starts this week.
I'm going to lean Darnold. I trust Darnold overall more.
Have you seen his numbers on passes, 10 plus air yards? 86%. How is that possible through 5 weeks? Second in the league's like 65.
because he's a good quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, not so much. We've got Jamie with one more. Would you sell Sutton for Lad McConkey in redraft? No, I would not.
Sutton's got a great matchup, by the way, this week as well.
Yes, he does. Lucius Bourne is 44 on YouTube. I just had a trade offer come into me with me giving up Breece Hall for Emeka Egbuka. My running room is great. Wide receivers are Metcalf, Debo, Shakir, and Higgins. It's a 10
I don't care the rest of the question. Take it.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
What are we doing here? Yeah.
Yeah, smash accept, as the kids like to say. Reynaldo Rincon on YouTube. Darnold, Mac Jones, or Bryce Young, who has the most upside this week? I've got Mac Jones ranked just a little bit lower. I take that back. Yeah, I've got Mac Jones ranked just a little bit lower. I've got him at 20. I've got Mac Jones just a little bit lower here. So I'd probably go Darnold, but it's a toss-up between Darnold and Mac Jones for me.
I mean, if you're talking upside, it's Bryce Young. The Cowboys, by far the worst pass defense in the NFL. If you look at quarterbacks scoring points through the pass, Matthew Stafford is first at 20 points per game. But if you include teams, Dallas, whoever quarterback is playing Dallas will be first. They're giving up over 22 points per game just in the passing game. And remember, this is a Dallas team that faced the Giants, 16th ranked offense, the Eagles, 31st ranked passing offense, and the Jets, the 27th ranked passing offense. So that's over half their games, and they're giving up that many points through the air. This is a dream matchup for Bryce Young. Not to mention, it looks like he may get both Jalen Coker and Jatavian Sanders back to go along with Tet McMillan. I love Bryce's upside this week. I agree with you, though. Darnold would be the guy that I would flat out start. But if you're looking for upside, I think Bryce has the most. Cowboys score a ton of points, too, which is the other benefit.
Yeah, but it's still Bryce Young, and that's where I get stuck with it. I know it's a great matchup. I know the situation for him couldn't be better this week, but it's still Bryce Young, and I feel like he's still going to find a way to screw this up. But
he can screw it up. I just need him to score points. Justin Fields was an example last week. He went into the fourth quarter, I believe, with like 4 points, and he ended up scoring almost 28 because, again, you can move the ball in Dallas. And yeah.
Fair point. We've got Jacob Ander on YouTube. He wants to know if Kyler doesn't play Sunday, which it is not looking like he is going to, would you rather start Darnold, Mac Jones, or Geno Smith? 6-point passing touchdowns. I will tell you right now, go ahead and get Geno out of there. He's droppable. You don't need him. You've got 3 quarterbacks. I'd get rid of him if I was you. For this one, I mean, back down to Mac Jones and Sam Darnold. Slight edge over Darnold, but I don't think you can go wrong either way.
Yeah, I mean, I might in this one because you're getting the 6 points for passing touchdowns. Go with Mac Jones because I know I keep hammering this home, but first for Tampa versus the run EPA, 27th versus the pass. I think if the Niners are going to score, which I believe they will, it's going to be through the air, and that's very good, obviously, in a 6-point touchdown league.
Yep, absolutely. And here's our last one, and then we're going to let you all get on with your Friday nights. Jamie wants to know, Keith, who would win it in a hot dog eating competition between the two of us?
First of all, I'm a weirdo. I like hot dogs boiled without buns. So I'm assuming the ones that they eat at like the hot dog contest are grilled. And second of all, there is no worse feeling for me in the world than like getting, full and trying to like eat as much food as I hate going to like buffets and stuff because you feel like you kind of have to. Fogo de Chao, if you've ever been there, as a prime example. So I'm going to say you would for sure.
I definitely would. I should have been a competitive eater.
Oh, I like this. It's never too late. Chase your dreams.
No, I don't want. Oh, man, my body couldn't handle it now. It's a young man's game. That previous question from Jacob Ander, he doesn't have any of the other players. He says he's just
which
really.
Would he pick up? I would pick up Darnold, right? That's different. Like,
long term, I'm picking up Darnold. That's the way I want to go with that one. Now we've got this one here from Sport Dog 1000. Hi guys, 18 PPR Superflex, need 2 to flex. Keenan Allen, Rashid Shaheed, Jamison Williams, Alvin Kamara, Ramondre Stevenson, Khalil Shakir, or Chris Godwin. Sport Dog, Chris Godwin is out. He is not playing, so you can strike him off of that list. I know for sure I'm going with Keenan Allen, Keith, and it's kind of up in the air with the rest of them for me.
I do like Shaheed this week. I think that if you look at it, he seems to be the only guy in that offense that can actually make touchdowns and get yardage. I know he's actually getting less targets than Johnston and Chris Olave, but he has the ability to score on the regular basis. And I just think New England is going to, again, Drake May is incredible, youngest quarterback ever, 200 plus yards and completing at least 70% of his passes in 4 straight games. So I think New England's going to score points, meaning they're in a throw situation. So I would lean Shaheed, but Stevenson continues to eat, in the red zone, which when you kind of have a gross, decision like this where you're not thrilled about anybody, I always look who's the guy most likely to score a touchdown. That's probably Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah. Yeah, Kamara's out for me too. The volumes become inconsistent. Yeah. So I want to throw this up here from Myth Carry, and keep in mind you can keep up with the full news scroll right at the top of optimusfantasy.com. You don't even have to click anything, guys. It's just there. It's the full feed from our Optimus Fantasy news account. So head on over to the website, check out that news feed, and then make sure you follow our news account. Sport Dog says, thanks so much, guys. Of course, we're here to help.
Man, yeah.
We do this because it's fun. We're just lucky enough that we get to do it a lot because it's kind of what some of us do for a living. Before we get out of here, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, Keith, but I wanted to show the people. Unlock your Sundays with our Optimus Fantasy tool set, tools.optimusfantasy.com. We just launched this awesome betting optimizer. It's absolutely fantastic. It's got the full slate. You can sort through all available bets on 11 books, including FanDuel and DraftKings Sportsbooks, MGM, Caesars, ESPN Bet, BetUS, and more. It's going to you can look at all of it. Find the best bet on your favorite platform. Find the best odds. Make those bets on Sunday and win some money. Best part is, Keith, 25% off your first 4 months with the promo code OptimusFall. Head on over to tools.optimusfantasy.com. All that info is in the show description as well. Whether you're listening to us on audio, watching after the fact, or watching us live right now. And if you are watching us live right now, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. The more, the merrier. We've got content coming all week to help you win your matchups, win the week, win some money, and win those DFS lineups. That's enough out of me. But if you've got more questions, head on over to our Discord channel. The link is, again, in the show description. We're there all the time. Any football-related questions you have, we're happy to answer. It's a community, and we're up for conversation. That does it for us, Keith. Thanks for joining me on a Friday. Sorry about traffic, but we still got to it.
This made it a lot better. So, traffic sucked,
man.
But I had fun talking ball. And I meant to plug this every Friday, and I forget. 9 p.m. tonight, me and Joe the Brain Mats. This is our 6th year together doing a DFS cash show. So we're very comfortable with each other. We're both huge nerds. Go over to Fantasy Six Pack if you don't mind. Check it out tonight. I promise you, if you're doing a DFS slate, it's worth a listen.
Yeah, man, go check them out, guys. And then we'll have our DFS show with Mike Reedy and myself published tomorrow morning, so you can check that out as well. We crushed the slate last week. We've crushed the slate every week this season.
Good for you. I crushed it last week, but it's been rough for your boy up until then. So I was happy to get it going in the right direction. I will say me and Joe typically do better once we figure out what defenses to pick on. And I feel like 5 weeks into the season, there's now enough data where, again, teams like the Miami, you just know some of these teams can't stop the run, pass, whatever. And it's not rocket science. We just try to pick on them. We're looking for opportunities versus bad defenses.
Reedy and I picked on, today we picked on the Bengals. We picked on the Dolphins. We picked on the Ravens. A lot of picking on the Ravens.
So. It's unreal. Like every metric, like pass, run, points per game, like you name it. It is
bottom quarter. They're in the bottom quarter in every stat category. In
Baltimore Ravens.
Fantasy points allowed, they're like bottom 5 in every position.
Yep.
It's it's incredible how the mighty have fallen. But you won't fall this weekend because you checked us out. So go set those lineups, set those DFS rosters. Have a good weekend, guys. For Keith Flemming, I'm Nate Polvogt. We'll see you next week.